Hello, welcome to the first episode of A Thing or Two About Failure, a podcast show where my guests get to talk about a time or two where they failed and how they overcame this failure. I'm your host, Ifedolapo Lawal, and my guests today are three gentlemen from all across Africa. I'm talking Namibia, South Africa, Lesotho, Côte d'Ivoire. Without talking too much about it, let's get to meet them. My first guest is Jessie, the founder of Patient Care, all the way from Namibia. My second guest is Johnathan from Côte d'Ivoire, the founder of Do. And my third guest is Lerato from Lesotho, the founder of Pay-Lesotho. How are you guys?
Hi. Good. We're good.
I'm happy to be in Nigeria, I must admit. Beautiful country, beautiful people. You know, the giants of Africa. I'm happy.
Yeah, first time in Nigeria.
Of course, loving it.
You guys, first time in Nigeria also?
First time in Nigeria. For me, not first time, but 6 years ago I was in Lagos. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. And you guys have been founders for how long now?
I have been a founder since I was 21, an official registered business. However, I started at the age of 17, unofficial.
And how many years ago is this?
Roughly 14 years ago.
Oh, okay.
From mine's fully founders for a year now.
A year?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're new to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first business 2007. It's almost like 14 years.
Wow. Oh, okay. Since this show, as the name goes, is about failure, and today we're going to be talking about failures in startups and in businesses. Those experiences. I personally have been doing startups since 2015. I've had 4 startups in the past. 3 of them failed. I'm on my first one. So, do you have any similar experience where you've done something before and it has failed, or is this your first startup?
No. This is not my first startup.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I started off with the web development and consultation business.
Okay.
It did not fail. However, I pivoted to a product type business, and I built 3 products, and those failed. And thereafter, I found my groove, and now exiting one of them, and recently launched Patient Care.
Oh, nice. And Johnathan?
Yeah. From my end, it wasn't my whole startup,
Okay.
but the first time I experienced failure was for launch of another startup.
Okay.
A well-known group in Africa who decided to launch in West Africa.
Yeah.
And that's why I made failure the first time.
Oh, okay. And Lerato?
And for me, I started my first one when I was in varsity. And when I had to move on from varsity to the next level of education, I had to cut that business. So for me, my first failure was earlier on in this business.
Early days.
Early days.
Very early days. Went well, but I had to stop because of studying further.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So you know how people feel about failing. People are scared to start because they don't want to fail. And as entrepreneur, my role model is Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, and he talks oftentimes about how much is failed before he started Alibaba, and I like to relate myself to that.
Mhm.
And at some point in my career, I called myself the female Jack Ma to so that people could relate me to that. But so have you guys had any role model that you could say, oh, because he experienced this and I'm kind of experiencing it, so I can relate to him? Do you have anything like that?
I'm fortunate enough to have my father. He was my role model.
Oh, okay.
So growing up, I grew up in an entrepreneur home, both mom and dad.
Mhm.
And seeing the mistakes got me into the groove of understanding that, well, failure is not the end of the world. It's
Yeah.
when you give up that it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
So with failure, one can improve one's way of doing business, and that's worked wonderfully for me.
Yeah, me, I'm following a lot of entrepreneurs. That's can sound cliche, but it's also my mother, my role model in terms of entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think this now proves that most of us are actually on the same path, because for me as well, it was family based.
Okay.
We born into a family business, and the family failures, you got to experience them at first hand.
Mhm.
So failure for my business is not new. So like my co-hosts here, we are on the same path.
Oh, okay. So I think failure is general, but it can also be personal. So with business, with my first business, it was personal in the sense that I did it with my partner, where we were supposed to get married, and then we started a business, and then we had to take accountability, but it was spending the money, even if he was spending some on me, but he was spending the money and he wouldn't take accountability, and that just fractured the relationship. So my takeaway from that first failure ever was never to do business with a partner or a close relative. Have any of you experienced anything like that, where doing business with someone you're close to, a friend or a partner, has broken the trust you have, or has it strengthened it? Do you have the opposite of my experience?
Me are not the opposite, the exact same experience.
Oh,
The first business I launched, actually, I'm not considering as my personal expense. That's why, for instance, I didn't tell you I tried it. But with a friend, I did high school. We tried to build a consultancy firm called Ethic Conseil in Ivory Coast, and it ended in a bad way.
oh,
Because me, I was traveling a lot across Africa, and he was supposed to be the person in charge locally. But it was very blurry. I wasn't able to get what exactly was happening in the business, and things were not moving the right way. But what I discovered later is that this guy was still making signing deals behind me, and it was a bit hectic. So we
Oh,
shot
wow.
a bit, and
wow.
yeah.
Lerato?
That's
Well, in
interesting.
my case, my first failure was mostly because of the fact that I was not present. As I said to you, I had commitments education-wise, where I had to commit elsewhere, and then the business was still very young for me to not be present. So my partnerships didn't live up to what I thought they would live in terms of actually running the business and growing it. So I think our experiences are similar in the fact
Yeah.
that I had to commit elsewhere, not fully in the business, and
Yeah.
hence it failed.
On that, I didn't fail due to a relationship, because as I said, I've seen my parents grow in this, and they were not partners, but they had individual businesses. So I've learned from an early age not to mix business and family. However, with what Lerato and Johnathan have said, that microscopic view in the business. So for me, it was the first few months of raising money. Raised some euros from a few investors in Germany and Estonia and the other parts of Europe, and they put pressure on me in a sense that you need to sell and upscale, etc. So I had the impression that I needed to hire salespeople,
Yeah.
and because I didn't have that microscopic view in it, the salespeople were not performing, and I was losing money because I was paying salaries. And fast forward, I learned that one should be involved in every step of the way,
Yeah.
until such a point that you can let go and it can then scale by itself. So that was an expensive lesson, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate, especially to the investors part where they put pressure on founders. We've given you money, we need to see results. And there's a thing they call the hockey stick. They want to see you like a hockey stick, your number, your revenue going up. They don't want to see the reality where it's like this, but that's the reality. And that pushes most founders to just do a lot of different things to keep the hockey stick going, and they end up like failing and dropping the entire ball. So talking about investors, have you ever gotten a no in that regards, where you speak to investors about your businesses, investors, customers, partners, and they turn you down? How does that make you feel? How do you take that, and how do you summon the courage to go to the next one after one has just turned you down?
For me, honestly, You know, sometimes you sell yourself, sell your idea, sell what you believe in, and somebody doesn't buy it.
Yeah.
And that's acceptable. You know, sometimes we expect people to believe what we believe in, and you just get to find at a very late stage that they are not buying it. So
Yeah.
I think it's common for business owners to have a rejection. And in business, obviously, you have to have a thick skin. You need to be able to accept that some people won't buy into what you believe in. Some would not buy it and later on buy in. So it's important for business owners to understand that not everyone is going to buy into what you are selling. Not everybody is going to see your future and plans. So for me, yeah, we did experience that in the early stages of our business, where people thought you are mad. This guy,
Yeah.
how do you think you will achieve this?
Yeah.
Is this even possible? Until you do it.
But how do you then, like, if you were talking to a partner or an investor and you just let it go and they've told you no, and then you need to talk to another one tomorrow, and no, even though we are founders and we have thick skins, we still get, like, you feel some type of way. You're a human being. You've just been told no. So how do you someone like the courage to go to the next call the next day and be like vibey, because you can't go there to be sad and whatever. So how do you get that courage together to go on that call?
Different stages in business, you will learn to move on. So it's the first time they say no, it's very difficult to move on from the no.
Yeah.
And eventually, when you've been in the business, long as we've been in the business, it's one of those things that, you know, you wake up, you drink tea, or you didn't drink tea.
Yeah.
It happens. So the first no, honestly, for me, was very difficult.
Yeah.
The no was from the business, was from a family. Actually.
Oh.
So these are people who you think have your back. These are people who think believe in you. These are people who know you.
Yeah.
Getting to know from those kind of people is
It's
quite
hectic.
tough.
It can get emotional.
Exactly.
I mean,
So if you can move past that, I won't even tell you how to move past that. Then it becomes easier. You learn to know that you get a no, you get a yes.
I mean, if you think about it, right, on the sales example I just gave, that it's a real example. However, I then took a step back and I started talking to advisors to understand what's the right, or who's the right salesperson. And one of the advisors, he's a doctor, he lives in Israel. He told me that you look for people that did sports because they have endurance and the ability to keep pushing forward. And then I looked at myself. I did sports my whole life. I stopped sports because I tore my ligament and became an academic afterwards. However, on what Lerato said, it's the perseverance, in a sense that you would get your no and you keep pushing forward. Luckily for me, I was an athlete, so if I get a no, I'm like, whatever, that's your loss, and I keep pushing forward. Looking at my first startup that I'm busy exiting, there were a lot of no's from investors, and as Lerato said, well, you get disappointed because you've poured yourself out to this specific person. And now launching my second venture, I learned who to talk to. And we have a list of investors and we haven't even started conversation or said yes to any of their proposals because I understand from the first one, right? And as an example, the first startup I spoke to close to 500, 600 investors across the world. And with this current one that I'm doing right now, I haven't pitched to an investor and we have a list of 11 of them ready to invest, right? So based on the experience, I learned that, well, no's are kind of pushing in the right direction also, because it could not be your destiny. As an example, you get a no and you pursue that no. Well, what happens then is you've pushed someone that really never believed in you, as opposed to someone that does believe in you. What happens is that when you're struggling, or startups need patient capital, risk patient capital that startups need. So when you find someone that believes in you, they have that patience. And when you find someone that doesn't really believe in you, then
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure, and that's not healthy for no founder. I've come to realize.
That makes
Me,
sense.
I want to come back on one point. It's all about when it's not about investors saying no, but your family or people saying no.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting the panel we have because you have serial entrepreneurs, and you have those guys like me who started in very corporate business. Me, I work for Big Four in consulting. Like my family knows me like the guy working for that Big Four. Then I work for other multinational, and I even work for mining industry. I was going to work by private plane
Oh.
to the site.
Oh.
And then one day I told my guys that I'm leaving. I want to launch a business. Help some guys launch a business in Nairobi. They were like, okay, what's the name of that company? Okay, and where will be your office? I said, there is no office for the time. Like I'll be working from home on my table. They were like, okay, are you okay? You see, and like when you launch that business, then it's not happening as you expect. Then you remember those advice you receive from your family saying you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's a mental battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think me, I'm at that stage now. I've been doing startup since 2015, like literally finished university. When I was supposed to go get a job, I saw like the first problem where I needed to get formal wear, and then yada yada yada. I started a business from there. And then my parents have always said like, I don't know what you're doing on the internet, but you're always broke. We always still give you money, you're always broke. We don't know what you're doing, but you're always broke. So there's also that thing where as startup founders, I think until we sell a company or until we push it so far where it can stand on its own and it's generating revenue, we are strugglers. I don't know if that's a word.
Survivors.
Survivors. we are surviving. Oh my god. But people don't see it that way. People, you call yourself a CEO, a founder, they look at you like, oh, all that money your investor gave you must be your money.
Yeah.
You must be rich or something like
Actually
that.
not.
But as being a founder, do you think has that affected or has that changed your mentality about things that when you're in a room and maybe your family members are thinking of things in one way, but because you're a founder now, you see it through the lens of a founder and you see it some other way. Does that change your what's it called? Your awareness about perspective about situation?
It's a lonely life in a sense that, like you said, your family was like, why are you always broke, right? I mean, I just graduated and finished my degree.
Yeah.
And I went back home because I studied abroad, and I went back to Namibia and I looked for a job and there were no jobs. So I decided, you know what, I'll start a consultancy business to survive
Yeah.
because I don't want to rely on my mom and dad's money. And in the journey of doing that, I attained some customers, but I didn't really attain them because I was too young. I didn't understand. And I quickly learned that I was in the wrong town. So what I did was I moved to the city and left the small town. And my mom cried because she thought I was going to go suffer. But 6 months later, I signed up one of the biggest corporates.
Oh.
And in doing that, I still had many failures because, well, now I'm dealing with a corporate. What do I know as a fresh graduate working with corporate, right?
Yeah.
It's messy. It's really messy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you guys have some thoughts, but on that family point, that's why I can relate with you completely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Johnathan?
Yeah, I think on the family side, like just how I say, it's changing your mind. Like, let me tell you, for instance, I signed my first contract when I was still in campus. My first employment contract.
Oh, wow.
So I was like sure about what's gonna happen in the next 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months. So even in the family, you were able to support, even financially, everyone.
Oh.
Because even if you spend everything to this today, you still get another low next day, comfortable and stable.
Yeah.
And then things change because you decide to change things, but they are still relying on you.
Yeah.
So now that's where you enter that survival mode, because you are thinking that you know now you are not just doing things for you,
Yeah.
but you still want to do what you have in your mind. You still
Yeah.
want to do your vision. So you do it for you, but you still think about the family. We're used to something,
Yeah.
and that changed a lot of things.
Oh wow.
What about being alone in that journey, right?
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy because they will always tell you why you don't just go back
Yeah. Yeah.
to employment.
Yeah.
Why you just don't go back?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's true.
For me, and I will just stress this because my background, my parents are very academic oriented. These are
Same.
people who studied both Africa and abroad. These are people who believe in education at different levels. I started my business when I did my first year.
Oh.
Whereas when I look at my parents, they did their first degree. They went out of Africa to study abroad
Oh
in
wow.
the UK.
Okay.
They had to come back, and we were born, by the way.
yeah.
So they had small young kids, went abroad and came back.
Wow.
And in our case, you want to start something where you feel privileged enough to say, I'm a first year student. I think I can juggle studying and doing what I want to do on the side. You know why this comes up? It comes up because you still have to live up to what your parents believe you become. Understand?
Family pressure.
So they are academics, studied abroad, doctors.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Those levels. And then you are not even a first degree holder.
Yeah.
And you want to go into business. According to them, this is a failed plan.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do? Because they didn't have the opportunity to
Yeah.
study, but they persevered and were able to study. They are giving you free range to study anywhere you want to study.
Yeah.
And you are saying, I don't want to study, but I want to pursue business.
Wow.
So for them, it seems like you're undershooting, like you are not living up to
Expectation.
set.
Yeah. So on this point, we are going to take a break for a bit. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to ask you some questions. And you guys are going to drop some quotes for the younger you. If you could go back 10 years, what would you advise the younger you? But keep watching. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to a scene or two about failure. And still on the show is Jessie, Johnathan, and Lerato. And now this phase of the show is where we play some games, ask some fun questions. We're gonna let loose a bit, you know.
Oh, I like games.
You know?
Yes.
Okay. First, the serious part first is very quickly. Each one of you just tell me if you could go back 10 years. What's the one advice you're gonna tell yourself about failure and how to prepare for the failure? What's the one thing? I'm gonna draw it. Johnathan, you go first.
Me, if I am coming back 10 years back, and I think that's the best lesson I kept from all those things that happened in my life. I think a nappy me can do better than just that a me, than a simple me, because I think failing by doing something that makes happy is much more better than succeeding in something you are not feeling yourself in.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's deep.
That's it. Yeah. Jesse?
What would I have told myself, younger me?
Yeah.
Don't second guess yourself. That would be the first thing. I guess I second guess myself all the time. And older me, I don't care anymore. Right now, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just do it. You love me, you hate me. That's it. That's life. We move, you know. Younger me second guessed a lot, and also I would have said start sooner. Like Lerato said, first year I built a website for my university accommodation. but I didn't know how to do the deal.
Yeah.
So I freaked out and I left it, and I was just like, and then I continued again in my third and fourth year. I tried it again,
Yeah.
right? So younger me would have been, well, you know what, just start and whatever happens, happens. And I think the last one would be get 7 people around you. One that guides you with your well-being and your mindset. One that guides you in your relationships and your religion. One that guides you in your business making decisions. One that guides you in your financial side of your business. One that guides you in your legal side of your business. And one that is really just the cheerleader. You know, when you're down and out, you call this person and they can give you that energy you need to keep pushing forward. If I had those, I think I would have been 10 times where I am now.
Yeah.
Can I add a last character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone that leads you spiritual.
Yes, sir. That one, spiritual.
Yeah.
Yes. Religious. Yeah.
Spiritually.
It's a key, major key.
Lerato?
Well, for me, the very first one would have been, somebody would tell me that, relax, my guy. Relax,
Easy.
relax.
Yeah.
You've got so many years ahead of you. I said I started when I was doing my first year, 2007.
Yeah.
So I was very young. And I took things too serious for my liking, The pressure was coming from the family side. Like I said, I'm from a background where my parents are very academic. And they have achieved what they have achieved. Yeah. And I wanted to base my achievements business-wise on what they achieved academically. And mind you, I was not a bad performer as a student. Remember, I started my business when I was a student. Yeah. I never failed, but I was never a top performer. Yeah. So now my parents were top performers. So now I'm basing my success on the fact that these guys were straight A's. Now I'm a C student. Forgetting that I'm a C student because I'm juggling school and business at the same time. So the first lesson would have been for me, relax. Relax. You've got this. Balance it out. Yeah. Achieve. The second one would have been, it's okay to fail. So as somebody who's learning, I was born into business, not from my parents, from the larger group of the family. My uncles were businessmen who never went to school, so they didn't like the school side of business. So they would just say, "Hey, Mona, here's my truck, deliver meat. I pay you this much. You learn, and you go ahead start your own." You understand? Yeah. So and then you have your parents on the other side saying, "No, you don't have to be a meat selling guy. Engineering, learn, you be great in life." You understand? So that balance of having the education side and the business side well balanced, and understanding that the one doesn't stop you from doing the other. Okay. So just that balance, somebody telling me you can actually do both. You can still study, have something to back you up whilst you're learning the business and actually exploring. Yes. So if I just mentioned the two, those are the two that I've mentioned. Relax and balance. Don't be too hard on yourself. Fail, learn. You still have a long way ahead of you. Yeah. That would have made me calmer, and you'd be able to push it without pressure. The second one, you can still learn, be an engineer, fulfill the other side of education whilst you are pursuing business.
Yeah, that's amazing. For me personally, it's gonna be, it's all in your head. It's never as you think. It's always just all up in your head, because I think I was an overthinker. I think I still am, but not as much. But I was an overthinker, and I just thought, hey, if I did this, nobody likes me, they won't buy it, they won't patronize me, they won't do this, they won't support me because nobody likes me. Why will they like me? But the truth is, they don't care. Like, if you do it, if they like it, they're gonna support. If you do it, they don't like it, they're gonna tell you they don't like it. So it's all up in your head. So if there's an overthinker out there, that's what I'm gonna also tell you. That's a gift I'm gonna give you. Is it's all up in your head. People don't care. They have a lot of struggle. You think Lerato cares? He has his teeth to worry about for crying out loud. So they don't. On that note, we're gonna go to games. So the game is this or that. So
Okay.
you're gonna choose if you like this or you like that.
Okay.
So an example is Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos.
This.
No way.
I'll go.
Use the name.
I'll go
Use
with
the
I'll go with Elon.
Elon. Why?
That's the days.
Elon also.
You
Elon,
mentioned
Elon
first.
also for me.
Elon.
Also Elon. Are you serious?
I love Elon for a few reasons, right? Firstly, he's bold.
Okay.
He's bold. He says it like it is.
I love him too for that.
Some will take it as arrogance. I'm like, that's character.
Yeah.
He knows what he wants, and if you're not going to invest or support or do, that's your own problem.
Same.
And the other reason is he's South African, close to Namibia. His partner is Namibian. His first partner is Namibian, and he's South African. So that takes it all the way back home, where people would be like, how will a Namibian ever do X? And Elon for sure, all the way.
Elon for sure. Same points, bold and potent.
Yep.
Now I'll come in. I support both, but my reasoning is a bit different. You know how we will talk about apartheid, we talk about certain issues that are not of our time.
Yeah.
So Elon is our guy. He's here now.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, what's his name?
Jeff.
So I think Elon is doing the most now.
Yeah.
We can relate to him now,
True.
as opposed to what the other guy has done in the past and is doing now. So for me, it's also about a time frame issue.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
can relate more to Elon
Than Jeff. Okay, I get you. Okay, one more. Logic or emotion?
Logic is straightforward. It's planned. It has a roadmap. You know, point A, point B, point C. At the same time, emotion has an element of the unknown. I thought I was going to do it this way. Emotions changed.
Yeah.
Can I come in there?
Yeah, let me finish. So,
Preach,
so for
preach.
Let
me,
him land
the
the
balance
plane.
between
Let him cook.
emotion and logic. You know, if you mix the two, emotion, correct emotion in the sense that you have a gut feeling, emotion in the sense that you are going on the spiritual level. You mentioned something on the spiritual level. That's emotion for me still. And then logic. Logic doesn't change. You put X and Y, you have an expected output. So I can't go for emotion alone. I can't go for logic alone. A good balance between the two will give you the best output.
Okay.
Do I really need to choose? Because for me it's the same. You know, I have a finance background, so
You're logical.
I'm logic by design.
Yeah.
You get it. But in any decision I'm taking, I'm always taking into account my emotions, because rarely I'm betrayed by my emotions. So it's difficult to choose. Yeah, and I really think for someone who live a very important place to spirituality in my life, I can't do without emotions, and I will put inside emotions like any spiritual feeling and intuitions.
Okay.
Even in business, you can tell.
Okay.
All right, so I need to take my phone because the answer for me is simple. It's logic.
Oh, okay.
But that's why I said that's why I said can I choose either or, and this is the reason, right? My personality test is I'm a logistician, which is a INTPA, right? So it's a psychometric exam I took, and it told me what my character is, which is, I'll repeat that, an TP/A.
Okay.
So that means I'm a logician. I mean, you can see it. It's
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
It says logician.
Logician.
You can all see that. It's logician, right?
Yeah.
Now, my whole life I've been logic in a sense that I approach life in a logical manner, similar to a computer, right? Beep bop, A B C D F G results, output. Now, the reason I want to balance it with emotions is because through the journey of entrepreneurship, I was thought to be more vulnerable. So people will say something like, yo, Jesse's ABCDFG, he smart, clever, whatever they think I am. And they would be like, but I feel weird about this guy. And I wanted to understand that. I was like, but why?
Why? Yeah.
What's the why here? And then going through, I got a personal coach about 2 years ago, and I learned this 2 years ago. And that's why all the entrepreneurs around me are like, okay, this guy is just like himself 100%.
Yeah.
And that's because the personal coach told me, be vulnerable. And in being vulnerable, people can relate with you, and then you can build better relationships. So hence it being a bit of a hard answer, because if I didn't go through that journey, I'd easily say logic, easy. But as an entrepreneur, relationships are your key.
Yeah.
Communications,
100%.
relationship, your networks, and many other things. However, if you can't relate or trust me because I'm not vulnerable, how will you work with me? Even though I'm super smart or whatever you think I am, the element would be, I don't trust him, I can't work with him.
Yeah.
So I needed to become vulnerable and achieve. So that's why I'm like in the middle now, as an example.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that answer because you guys have been able to convince me and not to confuse me that both logic and emotions go together. So this brings us to the end of the first episode, and I am so happy to have had you guys on the first ever episode. It's been fun, it's been informative, and it's been exhilarating, if that's the right word. Don't judge me. But before we wrap it up, I need you guys to give like one quote or just one word that the viewers can remember you for. So who wants to go first? I can lead. Let me lead by example. I like quotes.
Ladies first.
So quotes me anywhere.
Thank you.
Nothing perfect is real. Nothing real is perfect. Said by Ife. Thank you.
Wow, that's deep. For me, it's just be who you are.
Okay.
Yeah. Be who you are. Those that love you will love you and support you. There's those that don't. Well, it's okay. We are not all meant to love everybody.
Nice. When people drop something smart to do.
Yeah? Like that?
Yeah.
Alright. I got it.
Johnathan?
Yeah, I think usually when I meet people and they say, hardly met a finance guy with dreadlocks. I used to answer, I'm maintaining my free spirit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's deep.
Cook us. Lerato.
And then I have to talk about after these two.
And you don't have dreads to lie
I
on.
don't even have the background. But for me, the impossible is nothing. And then I'll just look at this from my background, where I come from, the country I come from. Small country, small nation, small population. For me, go out there, do your best, and possible.
That's deep. Love it.
On that note, like, watch, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on our social media, and see you on the next episode of A Thing or Two About Failure. Thank you.